All week we've been waiting for the front. It's been just fantastic weather, and if you are watching this from extreme eastern Ontario or the province of Quebec, enjoy that sunshine. You get a bonus nice day today, while areas back to the south and west, including the Greater Toronto area, have more clouds, and we've also been in and out of shower activity, and that will continue into the afternoon. We've also seen some thunderstorms, and most of that is out over Lake Ontario right now, but parts of Durham has had some heavier downpours. That's pushing into Rice Lake, parts of the Kawarthas, Peterborough area, and it will progress off to the east. So Prince Edward County, Kingston, heavier rain late today, and it could linger into early Saturday morning as well. Now this is where it's warmest, Montreal and Ottawa. That's where there's been some early sunshine, both at 22, 20 in Toronto, 9 in Sudbury. Oh yeah, this is a cold front, and there is a big change coming as that temperature drop occurs. So by Saturday, it'll be much cooler just about everywhere. For this afternoon, keep an eye out on the sky, risk of showers, and there could even be another line of thunderstorms developing later. We'll have more on that and everything you need to plan your weekend activities coming up.
A boil water advisory has been issued for...
Well, after a gorgeous week of weather, today a transition day, and it will be turning much cooler late this evening. This is for the GTA, 21 degrees with some humidity. It feels like 27. And then that wind switches to the north-northwest. We'll have some gusts in the 30-kilometer-per-hour range. As you get up tomorrow morning, partly cloudy, but only 12, and the afternoon high only recovering 2 degrees to 14. So it is going to be a shock to some people this weekend. 9 right now in Thunder Bay. That's the cool air moving in. 21 still in Quebec City. 20 in Halifax. Rainfall warning in place there. 13 Winnipeg. 16 Calgary. And the heat is on from California, where it's just brutally hot, now extending all the way north into the province of BC, and soon Alberta and Saskatchewan as well, getting highs in the 30s. By the way, next week, that should be our weather maker, so I'm looking forward to a continuation of a summer weather pattern after this interlude over the next couple of days. So we've had some showers already, at least around the GTA. There's been some storms closer to Lake Erie. This is all headed for eastern Ontario, and that's where the rain will be heaviest late today into Saturday morning. Montreal starts to see some showers, and there's a risk of thunderstorms for the eastern townships. Behind that front, we've got a northwest flow and still some instability, so there is a risk of showers this weekend, although it won't last very long. The sun will be out, and then it clouds over, and then you get a bit of rain. That's kind of the pattern, especially Saturday. Windy as well. 19 on Sunday, 23 on Monday, and look what happens next week. We're right back to where we just were. Sunshine and above seasonal temperatures, even overnights staying in the mid-teens. Now for Montreal, you get today, which is still fantastic. Tomorrow, we do have that rain. 14 and breezy on Sunday, and then warming back up to 27 on Thursday and Friday next week. That's the warmth that's currently out across Western Canada. Candace?
Okay, thanks so much.
Time now for our first look at the forecast. For that, let's check in with weather specialist Kaylee Bador. Kaylee.
Thanks, Carrie. Wet weather continues this evening, overnight, and actually ramping up. So pockets of heavier rainfall expected, 20 to 30 millimeters of rain still possible. So if we take a look at the futurecast, we get a good glimpse on this. I'll just step off the screen so you can get a good view. Risk of thunderstorm also continuing overnight and this evening. You can see starting some swaths of heavier rain into early tomorrow morning, especially as you head towards Smiths Falls, Perth area, and then toward the Ottawa Valley. So keep in mind, we've actually seen this front kind of linger on eastern Ontario. So some of the heavier totals are expected for the viewing region. Eventually makes its way out of the area by tomorrow, but lingering showers are possible, though some clearing through late afternoon and into the evening as well. But keep in mind, temperatures are going to be dipping tomorrow, and those winds already shifting later tonight. 14 degrees for the overnight low in Kingston. We still see that wet weather, and that picks up through the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, lingering showers possible, some clearing, a gusty west wind. Daytime high in the mid-teens. So more on that and the cooler air coming up. For now, that's a first look at your weather.
First Weather is brought to you by Aubin Windows and Doors. For premium products, award-winning service, and professional installations, visit aubin.com.
Golders is brought to you by Kingston Community Credit Union. Align your money with your values. Visit kccu.ca.
Time now for a full look at your forecast. That front continues to make its way across the region, with it rain heavy at times, and as the evening progresses through the overnight, we are looking to see things ramp up even a little bit when it comes to those rainfall totals. So 20 to 30 millimeters of rain still possible, fairly widespread for the region, and some localized higher totals as well. So we are certainly not done with it just yet, and actually Eastern Ontario kind of bearing the brunt of this one. We are seeing some of the heavier rain set up in the region, but the Futurecast does give us a good glimpse on how things are playing out as the evening wears on and progresses. So there you can see through the overnight, heavy rainfall continues, especially towards Charlotte Lake, Smiths Falls area, and pushing east toward the Ottawa Valley. But then tomorrow morning, well, we'll start off with some wet weather by the noon hour, even late morning. We see some of that heavier rainfall tapering off, pushing east, and some clearing will start from west to east. So Belleville, Prince Edward County, get in on that around the noon hour into the early afternoon. Kingston as well spreads to the east. So by the evening, some sunshine is in the forecast. Keep in mind that rain and chance of showers will linger into the early afternoon. However, then some clearing does take place, but the temperature's really going to change over Saturday and Sunday. Some cooler air will be in place and a gustier wind. So we'll be coming from the northwest, and we'll see that transition through the evening and overnight. But for now, temperatures, the low temperature, about 13 degrees for Kingston, hitting that into tomorrow morning. And then really we won't gain too much ground from there. Risk of thunderstorm does also continue tonight. Prince Edward County 13, Belleville 12 degrees through the overnight. Now, those winds will start to shift coming from the northwest. You can see hitting 13 tomorrow morning, then up to maybe 16 degrees for Kingston, South Frontenac area, 14, 17 in Brockville. The temperature even possibly sliding through the afternoon and into the evening once again. So really it is going to be much cooler through the day. Sunday, we start to see the temps rebounding slightly, especially for the overnight, back into the double digits. But Saturday night is going to be quite cool. And then next week we return to seasonal and even a little bit above seasonal by the end of the week with some sun, but still, of course, some wet weather to come this evening. That's a full look at your forecast.
Time now for our first look at the forecast. For that, let's check in with weather specialist Kaylee Bador. Kaylee.
Thanks, Carrie. Wet weather continues this evening, overnight, and actually ramping up. So pockets of heavier rainfall expected, 20 to 30 millimeters of rain still possible. So if we take a look at the Futurecast, we get a good glimpse on this. I'll just step off the screen so you can get a good view. Risk of thunderstorm also continuing overnight and this evening. You can see starting some swaths of heavier rain into early tomorrow morning, especially as you head towards Smiths Falls, Perth area, and then toward the Ottawa Valley. So keep in mind, we've actually seen this front kind of linger on Eastern Ontario. So some of the heavier totals are expected for the viewing region. Eventually makes its way out of the area by tomorrow, but lingering showers are possible, though some clearing through late afternoon and into the evening as well. But keep in mind, temperatures are going to be dipping tomorrow, and those winds already shifting later tonight. 14 degrees for the overnight low in Kingston. We still see that wet weather, and that picks up through the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, lingering showers possible, some clearing, a gusty west wind. Daytime high in the mid-teens. So more on that and the cooler air coming up. For now, that's a first look at your weather.
First Weather is brought to you by Aubin Windows and Doors. For premium products, award-winning service, and professional installations, visit aubin.com.
This is brought to you by Kingston Community Credit Union. Align your money with your values. Visit kccu.ca.
Time now for a full look at your forecast. That front continues to make its way across the region, with it rain heavy at times, and as the evening progresses through the overnight, we are looking to see things ramp up even a little bit when it comes to those rainfall totals. So 20 to 30 millimeters of rain still possible, fairly widespread for the region, and some localized higher totals as well. So we are certainly not done with it just yet, and actually Eastern Ontario kind of bearing the brunt of this one. We are seeing some of the heavier rain set up in the region, but the Futurecast does give us a good glimpse on how things are playing out as the evening wears on and progresses. So there you can see through the overnight, heavy rainfall continues, especially towards Charlotte Lake, Smiths Falls area, and pushing east toward the Ottawa Valley. But then tomorrow morning, well, we'll start off with some wet weather by the noon hour, even late morning. We see some of that heavier rainfall tapering off, pushing east, and some clearing will start from west to east. So Belleville, Prince Edward County, get in on that around the noon hour into the early afternoon. Kingston as well spreads to the east. So by the evening, some sunshine is in the forecast. Keep in mind that rain and chance of showers will linger into the early afternoon. However, then some clearing does take place, but the temperature's really going to change over Saturday and Sunday. Some cooler air will be in place and a gustier wind. So it will be coming from the northwest, and we'll see that transition through the evening and overnight. But for now, temperatures of the low temperature, about 13 degrees for Kingston, hitting that into tomorrow morning. And then really we won't gain too much ground from there. Risk of thunderstorm does also continue tonight. Prince Edward County 13, Belleville 12 degrees through the overnight. Now, those winds will start to shift coming from the northwest. You can see hitting 13 tomorrow morning, then up to maybe 16 degrees for Kingston, South Frontenac area, 14, 17 in Brockville. The temperature even possibly sliding through the afternoon and into the evening once again. So really it is going to be much cooler through the day. Sunday, we start to see the temps rebounding slightly, especially for the overnight back into the double digits, but Saturday night is going to be quite cool. And then next week, we return to seasonal and even a little bit above seasonal by the end of the week with some sun, but still, of course, some wet weather to come this evening. That's a full look at your forecast.
Your long-range.
Time now for our first look at the forecast. For that, let's check in with weather specialist Kaylee Bador. Kaylee.
Well, wet weather continues, heavy at times around the region as this front continues to push east. So expect that still as we head into the early morning hours and even ramping up at times. Storm threat also lingering through the region as well. So keeping that in mind as we head through the day on Saturday, it does start to ease, tapering off in the afternoon and through the evening as well. And then the winds start to shift by tomorrow morning, and we are looking at more of a west wind through the afternoon. So it is going to be much cooler, and that will start to pick up as well. Daytime highs this week, we were sitting at or even above seasonal. Tomorrow, we are more in the mid-teen range, 16 degrees for Kingston, but still some significant rainfall to fall tonight, overnight, and for the first part of the day tomorrow. Lingering shower threat, but for the most part, that heavier rainfall sticks for the overnight and first part of the day tomorrow, and even some clearing is possible later in the day. More coming up in your weekend forecast. For now, that's a first look at your weather.
First Weather is brought to you by Aubin Windows and Doors. For premium products, award-winning service, and professional installations, visit aubin.com.
Easter seals on.
Well, time now for a full look at your forecast. Rain, heavy at times, does continue through the overnight and into the first part of the day tomorrow. So heavier pockets of rain are pushing through. Storm threat does continue as well as we head through the overnight. But in the wake of that front, some cooler air also sinking in. So daytime highs tomorrow are going to be below seasonal. They'll start to climb once again Sunday into Monday, but unsettled conditions will continue for the bulk of the weekend. And of course, that rain out there tonight as well. So that front still moving across. It's kind of slowed down over eastern Ontario and through parts of Quebec as well. So bringing some heavier totals to the region. And of course, that does continue. Now, as we head through the overnight, you can see Charlotte Lake north to Smiths Falls and Ottawa Valley. Still seeing those pockets of heavier rainfall. Storm threat, as I mentioned, does continue. Here's 5:30 a.m. waking up still to wet weather. It does start to taper though and then clear from west to east, and even some clearing for Belleville, Prince Edward County, Sharbot Lake as the afternoon and evening progresses, eventually making its way to Kingston, Brockville, but not really until the evening. So we will start to see a bit of clearing. Lingering showers are possible into Sunday. That wind starts to pick up, and it is going to be a little bit cooler Sunday as well. Some clearing is possible on and off throughout the day, but cloud cover does roll through also, and it is going to be a little bit cooler. There's a look at Sunday's winds, sustained around 30 kilometers per hour for Kingston, gusts up to 50 from the west. So much cooler weekend on the way compared to some of the weather that we have seen so far this week, and it has been at or above seasonal. A little bit of a different feel. Now, of course, tonight, as I mentioned, that wet weather continues. Wind still coming from the southwest for now, but starting to change, and you can see the western portion of the region seeing that switch over to more of a west-northwest wind. Temperatures in Kingston hitting 13 overnight, not gaining too much ground tomorrow. 16 in Prince Edward County, clearing there first. South Frontenac 15, Brockville 17. The rain moving through from west to east. Now, if we take a look at Sunday's temperatures, as I mentioned, some clearing there, still quite cool. Monday, chance of showers, but beyond that, we are going to see some clearing for next week, and temperatures actually warm back up, especially late week, back to mid-20s. That's a full look at your weather.